bass louder.
What's up, guys? It is a new year. More than ever, people are feeling the financial pressure of just existing in life. Everything is freaking expensive when you go to the grocery store. You used to get like a whole cart of groceries for like $200-300. Now it costs $600. Everything is expensive, and now I think people are looking for ways to make some extra money. I'm gonna give you some creative thought processes and ideas that I have on how I'm gonna actually make some extra money, but you can make some extra money as well. The name of the game is flipping and selling and trying to do something kind of like a side hustle. But if you don't have any money, if you don't have any space, the best thing that I could recommend is actually looking around and seeing what you do have that is of value, and then take that thing, make it better, clean it up, or just list it for sale. So an example of that could be shoes, it could be an old computer, it could be an iPad, it could be some camera gear, anything laying around your closet. Get on eBay and take a look and see what it's selling for. But the perfect example for me is actually this 48-foot gooseneck trailer. So I've had this thing for about 2 years. I bought it in COVID during like peak trailer prices, where the price of these things just went absolutely insane. I've been using it as a storage facility, and it honestly wasn't in the condition where I could actually even use it myself or even be able to advertise it and list it for sale, because anybody who looked at that listing would see it as a big project and they just wouldn't even want to mess with it. So I'm going to take you through the process of what we actually did to kind of restore this trailer and get it ready for sale.
Look at how freaking big this thing is compared to the truck. Like, it's a good sized truck. I mean, that literally is big and as long as they come. Just kind of want to get it cleaned up, make it look better. We got to put the bearing and all that stuff back on this side, and then we're going to see about some stuff on the interior.
First things first, we got to mess with this trailer hub bearing brake assembly, and so we just got a brand new unit, put it on there. Got a tire all situated, ready to go. Next thing, this trailer was a living quarters trailer, and the whole living quarters area was removed, and so it was just down to the bare studs. We installed some new plywood to actually make this thing look like a finished interior trailer. Before we installed the wood paneling, we went ahead and wired some exterior lights to make it easier to load and unload things at night.
Can anyone tell me what kind of dog that is?
We sprayed some foam on the bottom to get rid of the draft in the trailer, and then used this router right here to go ahead and cut around all the windows and little trim areas just to make this thing look super nice. We got these pretty cheap LED lights off of Amazon, just all brand new, so they all match from the front to the back.
Now that this trailer is done and we know that we could at least get our money back and possibly make a reasonable little profit on it, that leads us to our next opportunity to make a little bit of coin. The next opportunity we have to make money is actually a really cool car. And this one was pretty tough for me to decide whether we were gonna flip this thing, try to put it all back together, or actually part it out. So let's take a look at this thing.
So this is a Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 8, and these things are worth a ton of money put together running and driving, but they're also worth a lot of money in parts. So this one is actually in pretty good shape, but it's missing two crucial items, which are the engine and the transmission, which happen to be probably the most expensive things to replace. And just due to the cost of getting this thing on the road again, I think this one's gonna serve a better purpose as actually parting it out, and it's gonna be our little money tree over the next couple months.
We have all these parts in a pile outside. We kind of pressure washed them, cleaned them up. First thing I want to do is see what some of this stuff is worth. So right there, we have the rear differential. So what we do is we just get on eBay, type it in. You go to the top, you hit sort or filter by sold items, and you can see right here an 03 to 05 rear diffs assembly sold for $1,499. If you scroll a little bit more, 1,300 bucks, 1,250, 999 for an Evo 10. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is just pull out the handy dandy camera, snap some photos of this thing, get all the angles. Then we head over to our selling tab on eBay, and you go right here and you just go bam, list an item. You just go to that previous listing and hit sell one like this, upload your pictures, upload a description. Now we have stuff on eBay. So as much as it pains me to see this car stripped down to a skeleton, it is gonna save a lot of other people's cars in their project cars, parts they're missing, things that they broke. And as you can see by the example of the differential, this thing is worth a ton of money in just parts. And I think just putting it back together, it would have taken a lot of time, effort, and energy. And so that's why we chose to part this one out. We have another car that we were getting ready to go pick up that, I don't know, it might be good for parting out, but we might be able to put this one back together. And let's go pick it up, see what we do with it. And we'll be there in like 20 minutes. All right, I'll see you soon.
I've been doing this for a couple years, and I use my truck and trailer for a lot of things, just in the business, for moving cars around, but it also makes a lot of sense because I could use it to go pick up a lot of stuff. So this is a 2018 F250. We have a 28-foot tilt deck trailer with a winch on it. But again, this is kind of the process of selecting the right vehicle. You don't have to buy a car that has a blown up engine or doesn't run or needs a bunch of stuff. You could buy something that needs cleaned, it needs detailed, it needs a fender and a bumper and a hood, but you could still drive it home. Or maybe you have friends that have trucks, trailers, or it's honestly not even that expensive to call a tow truck, 150 bucks, have them towed across town, drop it in your driveway. So this car that we're going to get right now does not run. Perfect example of bringing the truck and trailer.
I think it's all right, not a bad unit.
What's wrong with it?
What do you think? Timing belt snapped. There she is. What do you guys think? Did we do all right? It's 2007 Subaru Impreza, non-turbo, none of the other stuff. 500 bucks is what I gave the guy for him. I feel like we should be buying cars at like 200 to 300 bucks. YouTube doesn't make that much money, so we're gonna break down this potential business model when we get back to the shop and see how much we could potentially make off of this car and cars in the future.
First thing that we did when we get back to the shop is obviously get this thing unloaded and start looking around. Does this thing make sense to keep together as a whole entire car, or does it make sense to part it out? We also need to figure out what is actually wrong with this. We were told that it needed a timing belt, but the engine does crank over. It does sound like something is working. But as soon as we actually got it in the shop and started looking at it, we realized that somebody had already replaced the timing belt, and this thing potentially might have some bent valves.
What do you think of this thing? Your first car? Is this your first car? Oh, okay. He's on.
So looking into the engine, it is super dirty, super gross. Obviously, it's been in this car for 160,000 miles, has minor leaks, but as you can see right there, that is a brand new thing on these Subarus is lack of maintenance, and the timing belt essentially snapped. Somebody thought they could get lucky, which sometimes you can, and just put a new belt on it, put it back in time, and start it up and away you go. But this one actually bent valves. So we did a compression leak down test on it, and it wasn't showing up very good. So this thing needed a couple more maintenance items like the CV axle boots, cleaned up the valve covers, and a couple little things like that. So we went ahead and pulled off the cylinder heads, and we found a local guy who actually has been doing this for over 10 years, rebuilding Subaru cylinder heads. So what we did is gave him our core cylinder heads while he built a spare set. So we got a bunch of awesome maintenance items. We got new spark plugs, valve cover gaskets, serpentine belts, painted the valve covers, got a new timing cover for the front, and we just got our brand new cylinder heads back. So we got some fresh head gaskets, some head bolts, and now we start the process of reassembling this engine. Seeing this thing start for the first time is an awesome feeling. And obviously this is a pretty big job, and we have very well equipped shop with lifts and plenty of tools, but Subarus are pretty simple, and honestly you could do this in your driveway or in your garage at home with just a simple cherry picker. There's tons of information online and plenty of resources, and a lot of people locally to us, for example, that just part out Subarus. So there's tons of parts available, and especially here in Colorado, there is a high demand for a cheap four-wheel drive running car, especially in the winter. So I would use this as a great example of something, maybe you live on the beach and maybe people want convertibles, or you live in Texas and people want a diesel truck. Keep in mind that flipping a car could be as simple as just giving it a good wash, taking better pictures, detailing the inside, polishing the headlights, putting on some new tires, and just sending it down the road. And you don't have to get rich on one. I always try to make sure that the cars that I sell are genuinely good cars. And the biggest thing that I have found that helps me when selling a car is just telling the truth. I'm the guy who fixed it, and now you'll have a good car to drive down the road.
Now that this car is all done, I actually had a buddy reach out recently and asked us if we had any vehicles for sale. We agreed to a price of $4,800 for this thing. I had a total of $3,300 in this thing, which leaves us with a profit of $1,500, and that is after paying Eric the time and all the labor that he had in this car. So overall, I would say that is a win. The reason flipping cars is one of my favorite ways to make money is you could not only learn a lot about your own cars, it's a good way to just, use cars or drive a car that you have always had an interest in. And that's what I would definitely recommend is I would start with something that you know a lot about. Like, let's say if you're into Hondas and you drive a Honda Accord, look for a Honda Accord that might need an engine or a head gasket or a CV axle or a broken transmission, or maybe it just needs a headlight and a bumper, something simple. The biggest thing is do something that is within your means, something that you have the tools for, or something that you just have the resources for, like a friend that has a shop with a lift, or just instances like that. Like, look to what you are actually capable of, or friends, family, sister, brother, cousin, uncle, use your resources, use your network, and just try to make some money. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this series. If you guys have any questions, I'll be answering them in the comment section below. We also have a VIP group where we actually discuss a lot of stuff like this, and you could join that for as little as $10 a month and get entries for a chance to win all of our other sweepstakes cars and potentially some VIP builds. So Appreciate you guys watching this video. Let me know what you think. See you later.